Alright guys, Sinatraa back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News and so much to dive into today. Day 2 of Masters went down last night with some very interesting series, but Sinatraa just come out and confirming that he wants to return to competitive play, ideally with the Sentinels roster. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, we've got to talk about some of the series that went down last night. Going to touch on rostermania real quick though. Hiko comes out in, of course, for the Fnatic guys. Turko not being able to play. Big story of yesterday. I also don't believe he'll be able to play today either. Massive deal for Fnatic. They're going to have to turn things around quick. Speaking of rostermania though, we talked about 100 Thieves, what they might potentially do. The rumoured roster of Ethan, of course, being gone. Hiko being gone. Asuna, Bang staying alongside Will, Stella and Dephh coming into the team. That apparently is the present rumour. cNed says you will know in a few days what is going on. So apparently a super cool piece about the roster from the compound today. So maybe that is confirming what the roster is going to be. That's the thing. We've heard about the kind of trials that have been going down, whether that team of Will, Stella, Dephh, Asuna and Bang will actually stay as the team of 5, or whether guys like Ethan that seemingly have been put to the bench will get brought back into the team if they don't want to go down this route. The idea they've recorded a piece of content probably locks in that potential. And well, he says we'll know in a few days' time. And of course, Will also comes out and signs some sort of contract right game time. So does maybe imply the 100 Thieves roster may well be set in stone. So we shall see over the coming days what they decide to come up with, whether they'll kind of reveal this after the group stages in the kind of short break that they have there within Masters. That's a possibility. This also, just to mention real quick, FaZe Clan potentially going to trial with Saw as their in-game leader, because of course Saw had Stella, he seemingly is going the 100 Thieves direction. So just another indication this might well be the case. Just to talk real quick about TSM as well, the rumours that Seven and GMD coming into the team seem to be the case. They played in an NSG championship yesterday, and well, Corey Sabros of Rossi, Seven and GMD were spotted playing this series. Let's talk Masters then though. NIP versus Fnatic first series then. Yesterday I predicted Fnatic to win, largely because I believed Turko would be able to play in this series, but it was not the case at all, as well, Sideshow says, kind of the first person to mention this. I gotta go with NIP here. Fnatic still using 2 substitutes, really struggle against FPX's tempo, and the subs hurt that versus Nip. Without Turko, they won't find any openings either. We thought that Turko being able to fly out there would have been okay to play in this game, but he says that's not the case. I believe he's only going to be out of the quarantine he's got to do on Wednesday, despite the fact that he tested negative before he flew out. He's still got to do some sort of isolation thing. I believe not necessarily riots thing, but it might be government mandated or whatever exactly is the case locally. But as Turko says, unfortunately won't be able to play first game, still in isolation at the hotel, still going to watch and root for my boys. Very confident that Hybrid is going to perform as well. Don't underestimate this guy. He had a great performance, no doubt, but still the rest of the team didn't really seem to turn up all that honestly. And of course Turko has a difficult time watching this from isolation, watching Fnatic go down 6-0 at the start of this ascent. Hyper comes through on the Jets and pretty much carries the team through this particular round. Gets a disgusting ace in a 3 versus 5 situation to help them get back over the line, to be honest, right here. But still didn't help Fnatic all that much. They're down 6-0 at this point. NIP, to their credit, looked absolutely fantastic. But that's the thing, when you're playing with the substitutes as they were, with Fear in the team as well, and with Hyper coming through, of course, look, he had a great moment right here to help close out this round. But still, you do have to think that the situation Fnatic find themselves in is very challenging. And Ninjas in Pyjamas took full advantage. They win both maps relatively comfortably. Game 1 goes in their favour. 1 versus 3 for B&J as well was pretty disgusting to help these guys get back in business on the Omen. And they end up closing out this map, I believe, 13-7 on the game 1. They go to a split and win that one 13-8. And what way Fnatic are very good. You would well expect Fnatic to have won that map maybe with their full roster. Not the case though. They are going to need to survive if they want to actually get back in business here, because Fnatic are going to have to play 1 match later on today against Zeta Division. If they win that one, then I believe Turko might be back in time for their final qualification game. He'll certainly, should be at least, back in time for their playoffs if they make the playoffs. And making playoffs is going to be far from easy with the current situation they find themselves in. Turko's not very happy about it. He drops the Sag on the timeline, understandably so. Even Boaster's saying, not happy about it, right? So tough to see really that Turko's stuck in this situation. I thought he'd be okay to play, but turns out that's not the case. He even says your idea how long left. It's going to take until Wednesday. Wednesday, the 13th of April, that being tomorrow, until he can come out of there. But will Fnatic even be still in the tournament at that point? We'll look at the bracket at the end here. But again, 2-0 to Ninjas in Pyjamas. Credit to those guys. Zand and Co played absolutely spectacularly. Great performance on Ascent. Great performance on Split as well. 13-7, 13-8 on the Split. And it was actually Fear and Hyber, technically, that had the number 1, number 2 performances of the team. So good work from those guys. But just kind of getting everything going on the rest of the Fnatic guys didn't really seem to be happening all that much. So yes, who knows whether Turko returns. This team can turn it around. But they're certainly going to need to because they find themselves in the lower bracket round 1. Let's talk into this series then. So this was a series to determine the first team going through to the playoffs. Would it be Xerxia? Would it be Team Liquid? And what a series. I expected this to be an absolute banger because Xerxia, of course, took down Optic just yesterday. But Team Liquid come in here. They get the job done in the game 1, go up 10-7 at this point, take the double digits, win game 1 on the split, and had another advantage here on their defensive side over on Icebox. But, Xerxia do well. He gets a 6-man ace here. This guy's scary. What a crazy round this was, right? Takes down his teammates, gets all the kills on the other side as well. And that gave Xerxia the momentum they needed to get over line here. So a game 3, who is surprised? And an absolutely absurd game 3 at that. It starts off with Scream getting a great pistol round, as you might well expect. Scream and Navera as well, I believe here. It's Ramadan right now. So they were playing on a massive, a 20-hour fast going into this series. So credit to those guys for performing the way they did. Because, they went off on the main stage. And Xerxia go down here in the end, at least early on in this game. But they were certainly not going to go out with a fight. A very, fantastic team to watch, honestly, these Xerxia guys. The comps they come up with, there's Chet, the Optic coach, certainly had a few words to say for if you've seen that drama the last couple of days. But also just how coordinated and consistent they are. Yampy, though, what a phenomenal player this series. Without Yampy, they would not have won this series, Team Liquid. There's no doubt about it. Here on the Jet, he basically, I think he played a different agent every single map they played and still was on fire pretty much every single game, right? And had so many crucial moments for this team to win. Gets this incredible ace as well, actually, to get them over line on the half. But Xerxia fight back all the way to overtime, and one of the craziest overtimes you're going to see. Game 3 to determine which team goes through to the playoffs of the tournament. 17-15 on Ascent. Team Liquid gets over the line. Unbelievable series. Credit to Xerxia. And of course, them dropping down to losers is going to be incredibly crucial, given that they play the winner of Optic versus Crew. That could be very spicy. We'll look at, as I say, the bracket in a couple of seconds' time here. And as even Navera says, didn't eat for 20 hours. Time to enjoy now. So awesome stuff. Congratulations to Team Liquid. They qualify. Both teams played incredibly well. Final series stats like this. 2-1. The final round was just absurd, right? 17-15. They got so back and forth. All these offensive rounds in a row that both teams want to give themselves a chance. And Yampy on that final map was really the difference maker, to be honest. And arguably over the course of the series as well, albeit Scream also had great performances as well. And you can see all the different agents these guys used over the different maps. It was a very interesting decision in terms of the compositions. Impressive from Team Liquid. But we've got to talk about this real quick from Sinatraa. As he describes, it's been a year since I was forced to step back from competitive play. In that time, I've learned a lot about myself and grown as a person. I'm now ready for a return to competitive and will be starting tryouts this week. So this is the news I'm sure a lot of you guys have been waiting to hear for quite some time. With Sinatraa forced away for reasons you guys are well aware at this point, there's been plenty of talk. Will he ever return to competitive? Does the team want to give him a chance? At what point will the kind of PR discussion kind of go away and Sinatraa gets a chance again for a team that actually wants to win, right? And will pick up a Sova like Sinatraa if he still wants to play that role. They can be one of the very best in the game, and especially in the North American region. He now seems keen to return. That's the thing, players go to content for a while, they enjoy doing the content. It's a relatively easy life, I suppose, compared to what it was in competing, but a lot of the time they miss the competitive nature at the tournaments and, being the best and being a champion, all this type of stuff that they maybe have been in the past and haven't been able to do recently. He wants to kind of recapture those days, making it very clear he wants to return. Very interesting additional comment here as well. Honestly, when I first saw this, I was wondering whether someone had just logged onto his account and tweeted this out for him, but he makes it relatively clear. First choice would be to return to Sentinels, saying that look, he's obviously there right now as a kind of content creator, was on the team initially. The team made some moves, they of course became particularly good, but still, first choice would be to return there. So he wants to spot back on Sentinels. What does that mean for the roster? Because we've already talked about the possibility, with Ethan potentially being a free agent from 100 Thieves, could Sentinels consider that option? ShahZaM said no, that's not the case. But now Sinatra's coming out and just straight up saying he wants to be back on the Sentinels starting roster. They have not been great as of late. He wants to take them back to the former success that they have had. And of course, Sentinels as an organization have been happy to stand behind Sinatraa as a content creator and as a person and a personality on their team. So why would they necessarily turn down an option like this if the team wants to go down that route? It's going to be a very interesting one. Plenty of other words were said as well though, because of course this is even as Richie Cobalt says, Sentinels come up with a video very recently with Sinatraa appearing in it for the first time in quite some time. He's seeing a pattern here, he says. Sinatraa even drops the eyes emoji, kind of saying, okay, yes, this maybe indicates something is going on. So who knows what's happening? But Sentinels right now, at least in terms of the VLR rankings, are number 6 in North America, way beyond it, way further down than the number 1 they were for quite some time. So look, who knows? Sinatraa says he's going to return. He's going to do some tryouts, whether that's with Sentinels, whether that's with other teams in the North American side, to make his return to competitive play, or if there's even a possibility that he can make the return to Sentinels. Who knows, right? Very much intrigued to your perspective in the comment section below on this one, because it's been quite some time since we've seen anything like this happen. Sinatraa definitely wanting to return, and it does also maybe throw a spanner in the works of what other teams are thinking thinking about, right? Even as Zom says, all right, bet, because look, all of a sudden, if you've been building your roster, and like, let's say 100 thieves, for example, Asuna says the following weights, ... like, maybe you're Sean Gaze or DDK, and you've been looking at Will, Stella, Derek, the team you've been trying to form, and now Sinatraa is potentially an option, and you don't necessarily have to lock in the contract already, then you're thinking, okay, well, hang on a second, maybe we'll just take a step back, consider these options, whether that's a possibility, because there was some talk in the past that teams were interested in Sinatraa, but like, didn't really want to sign him due to the potential PR kind of repercussions of that. But now Sinatra's saying, well, actually, now I want to compete, and maybe before, even if he did get offers, he wouldn't have accepted them, because maybe he wanted to still be part of the content game, but now he's fully ready to get back in business. So who knows? Will this shake up rostermania to a great degree? This is kind of the time, I guess, to come back, even though 100 Thieves maybe have got their roster set in stone now, but then I guess they're looking at Derek potentially being their saver. I'm wondering whether any upgrades are in session with Sinatraa potentially being back on the market, right? And other organizations, I'm sure, are going to have to take note of this one as well. Just as we finish out the video then, so 3 days until the bracket stage gets underway. As the guards say, it's not long at all until the groups are done and dusted and the bracket stage officially begins, but these are how the groups line up. So Group A looks as follows. Fnatic lost to NIP, DRX beat C to Division. That means that today, both the games in Group A will go on. NIP versus DRX, determining the first team to qualify from Group A. DRX, I guess, are technically slight favourites here, but who knows? NIP played fantastic yesterday, and then Fnatic plays E to Division. A series, again, they should win. They should be the better team. They should be able to win this series anyway, but still, who knows? If they go out to D to Division, that would be an absolute shock, but maybe not something that's out of the realms of possibility right now, and if they do win this one, they'll play the loser of NIP versus DRX, probably with Turko back on the 13th, which, if that's the case, that could take them to the next level that they need to be at, but they've got to get past the Division. Without Turko, it does indeed seem. And then this Group B to me is absolutely stunning, to be honest. This elimination game is the one that I'm most looking forward to. Optic versus Crew. Optic have to win this one. If they win this one, they get the rematch against Xerxia to try and qualify out of the group, but Crew is not going to be easy. Team Liquid very much struggled to get past them. They did 2-0 them, but it was an overtime in the game too. I think that Optic will win this just because I want to see the Xerxia rematch, but yeah, to me, I think it's going to go to a game 3, and Optic are going to very much struggle to get past this team. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us your YouTube gods this is a good video, and I think you should see it as well, and I'm growing the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.